I'm Nita Boyce, and today we're going to cook a frittata, and assisting me is...
David Dosser. I'm your faculty athletic representative.
And today I'm your executive chef, but typically I'm the director of student development. Okay, we're going to start with all of our ingredients to make a ham and cheese frittata. Okay, David?
Mm-hmm.
So, alright, we're going to start with first chopping the onion. David's going to chop that up for us. We already have some ham diced. We have some shredded cheddar cheese, salt, pepper, of course our eggs for the frittata, and a little milk to make it nice and creamy, and then some optional ingredients we'll talk about. So while David chops the onion for us.
I need to chop this in?
Yes, you can chop that in. With the onion, you have to just, you can chop both ends or just one end so that you can peel that top layer off first. So you get the top layer peeled off, and then you're ready to chop the actual onion. That's probably enough for this frittata, unless you really like a lot of onion. So then you want
to chop it up more?
Yes, you want it pretty finely chopped and diced. Of course, if you like a lot of big chunky onions, you can leave it big and chunky. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn the oven on. Okay, the frittata is the Italian cousin of the French omelet. The difference is, with the omelet, you have to get that flip in there and it's a little creamy and runny. The frittata, you just pop it in the oven, let it broil, and it comes out like a nice little egg pie.
Did I chop it up enough?
That's very good. Let's get this, let's see. Yeah, chop it up just a little more on that. And then I'm going to go ahead and turn the oven on to broil. Alright. Excellent, David. I think that's very good. Okay, let's go ahead and scoop it into the bowl, and then we'll have all our ingredients we can take over to the oven. Now what we're going to do, before we actually start the cooking, we're going to get the eggs whisked and ready to go into the pan. So David's going to assist with that. David, we're going to crack the eggs in the bowl. Just crack the egg on the side of the bowl and empty the contents into the bowl. That happens sometimes. You want to... There. Now, bingo. Very good. I see an A+ coming. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to add just a little bit of milk, if you have cream, milk, anything like that, into the eggs. So go ahead and pour that into the eggs. It just makes it a little creamier, a little richer. And then you're going to take with your fork and whisk them all together.
Am I whisking enough?
You probably want to beat a little harder. You're going to want to break it all up and get kind of a scrambled egg consistency. Just beat it real good. Okay, you want to take an oven-proof pan, such as this, one that can go in the oven under the broiler. Okay, you want to turn your burner on to about medium, which is halfway between high and low on your stove. You may have numbers, you may have medium. So you want to turn that on and start getting your pan hot. And then, David, you're going to pour in a little olive oil into the pan. Maybe about 2 tablespoons is good. The nice thing about a frittata is it really doesn't have to be all that exact. You're kind of just creating what tastes good to you. So you kind of want to just like this, get the olive oil spread around in the pan. And the first thing we want to do is saute the onion and get those tender till they almost turn kind of translucent. So David, I'll let you put those in. Put what onion you would like. You just want to kind of give it a little flavor. Okay? Very good. And again, like I said, it's not an exact science. You just kind of put what will be good to you. So you want to let the burner get a little hot. It's going to start to sizzle a little bit. Okay, so we've got the onion kind of sizzling here. David, you want to just kind of stir it around so it doesn't brown really, but we just want to get it to a tender, translucent point. Okay, that's starting to look really good. It's almost like you can see through it.
Okay.
While it's doing that, you want to just put a little pinch of salt in there, sprinkle a little pepper as well.
A pinch of salt. How much is a pinch?
That's a pretty good looking pinch right there.
Okay.
And then sprinkle a little pepper in there. Okay, and then once you get your onion ready, you want to dump in your ham and just kind of stir that around and saute that. And again, the amount's not that important, but you do want to make sure that you don't have your pan too full, because you got to give enough room for the egg to get around that, because the egg's what's going to hold everything together. Okay? All right,
So the egg's going to hold everything together?
Yes, it's the glue. It's the foundation of the frittata family.
Okay.
Absolutely. Okay, so next we have our whisked eggs. Okay. All right, David, I'm going to pour these in. And you just want to kind of pour it all around in your pan. Make sure that everything gets covered. All right, and then what we're going to do...
When are you going to put the cheese in?
The cheese goes in. We want to let it firm up a little bit, because if you put the cheese in too early, it'll sink to the bottom, and then it can stick to the pan and kind of cause a mess. So, here, you hold on to the handle then, because you want to just tip it a little bit, kind of pull away from the edges a little bit, and let some of the loose egg kind of slide underneath there so it can do a little cooking. Tip your pan just a little bit. Tip it a little bit the other way.
Oh, the other way?
That lets it kind of run under. Okay, and flatten it back out a little bit. All right, that's looking good. We kind of have a set bottom now here on the bottom, so we can sprinkle in our cheese. So David, you can take and just kind of on top, sprinkle as much cheese as you want, what you think will be good. And as it's starting to cook like this, you can also turn your heat back just a little bit, because you don't want it to get too hot. So just kind of sprinkle it all in there. You can use grated cheese, you can chop up the cheese, you can do spinach and tomato, asparagus and tomato.
I like a lot of cheese.
I see that. Cheese is good. Okay, so that looks about right. Let's see, again, kind of like, to see how I kind of pull that away and let some of the loose egg run under. That's kind of what you want to do. And a little bit over here. See how it's gotten even firmer? But what we're going to do now is we're going to put this in the oven under the broiler and let it kind of start to brown up on top and firm up. And then you basically have kind of like an egg pie. Alright? So David, I think that's what we can do now. We already have the broiler on high. Put that in the oven for a few minutes.
And needs to go on the top shelf?
Yes, absolutely. You got it exactly right. So we're going to put it in there and just kind of keep an eye on it and watch it. As it starts to get brown and firm, then that's when you want to take it out. And voila. Okay, so our frittata's been in the oven for about 2 minutes or so. And again, we've kind of been watching it to see how it browned. David, he has his mitt for safety, and he's now going to pull the pan out for us. Oh, that looks very good. Excellent. Okay, and so we've used a nonstick pan and we've got our olive oil, so really the frittata should just kind of slide right out onto your cutting board for cutting. So David, go ahead and pick it up and just kind of see if you can't just kind of slide it out onto the cutting board. Very nice, very good. Now the nice thing is, then you can just take a pizza cutter and cut it into slices, just like pie slices. And the great thing is, you can have this for breakfast, you can have it for lunch, or you can have it for dinner. It's an excellent meal at any time. You've got your protein, your eggs, your cheese, your meat. Delish.
I like a big piece.
We will serve you a big piece right away. Okay, so you can just take and slice it with a pizza cutter or a knife, and then you have your frittata ready to serve. So David, you want to serve us a slice? Ooh, looks good. It's good and hot. Serve you a slice too?
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you can do, we have some hot sauce here. If you want to put a little hot sauce on it, maybe some ketchup or something like that. You can also do the hot sauce and put those in the frittata while you're cooking it as well. So, let's give it a shot, David. Your first frittata.
It's very good.
So delicious. Bon appetit.